All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, January 28th, 2021. We're going to work on Lesson 12 today, and before we get started on Lesson 12, please write this list of numbers across the top of your paper. Once you've completed that list, take a look at the directions here. Write these integers down in order from least to greatest in the space below. Take these numbers and put them in order from least to greatest. Which is going to be least, the positive side or the negative side? Negative. So you're going to start with the negative number that's farthest to the left first. What number would that be?
-8.
Good, -8. Keep going. Cross that off your list until you have that list finished. And when you do have that finished, just give me a thumbs up so I know you're ready to move on. Not yet. Just put them in order first. Put those in order. Check your list to see how you did. Thumbs up? Okay, we're good with that. Let's look at the next set of directions. It says, write an inequality statement using those numbers. Cooper McDonald, what's an inequality statement? Yeah, when you put the greater than or less than signs in. If we're going from least to greatest, which sign am I going to use? Less than or greater than? Less than sign. So watch what happens. -8 is less than -7, which is less than -5, less than -3, so that's an inequality statement. And then the next direction says this. Below each integer, write its absolute value. So, Robert, what's the absolute value of -8?
8.
Yep. What's the next one, Robert?
7.
Keep going.
5. 3. 0.
No. How far away from 0 is it?
1. 2. 8. 9.
Make sense so far? Here's the next part. This is kind of what we're going to focus on today. It says circle the absolute values that increase in numerical order and their corresponding integers. So as I read across from here, do these numbers increase? 8, 7, 5, what? They're decreasing. So let's keep looking. 0, 1, 2, 8. Now they're increasing, right? Circle the numbers and their absolute values that increase. Yes. From 0 to 1, it increases. What do you know about these numbers over here? How would you describe that particular group of numbers? Braden, they are the positive numbers. Exactly right. Rewrite the integers that are not circled in the space below. How is this list different from this list? We said this list was all positive numbers. Shane?
There's positive and
Well, these are the absolute values, but all the integers are
negative.
negative numbers. Can anybody see a pattern?
Mm-hmm.
Brody said, yeah?
Yep.
So tell me what it is. What do you notice?
Up there, you write all of them, and then you circle one, and then you write the thing that they are positive or negative,
Right?
and then down there, you write the negative ones, and then you write what they are, and you write negative.
What's the pattern?
Same thing up there.
What's the pattern? Besides telling me all the steps that I did, which is right, there's a pattern. Anybody want to answer that? Janaya, what do you think?
Like the negatives decrease and the positives decrease.
Okay, stand up because you talk so quietly I can barely hear you. Janaya's got it. Tell them what you just said. What do you notice?
The negatives decrease and the positives increase.
The absolute value of negative numbers decrease and the absolute value of positive numbers increase. So write this down. Are those opposites, increase and decrease? Yep. Are those opposites positives and negatives? Yes. So it's another example of when things become opposites, everything flips around to the other direction. When you finish that, go ahead and turn the page. Okay, the next thing that we're going to work on after this is going to be putting points on a coordinate plane on a graph. So they're going to start talking about what happens with this graph. This is a little bitty section of what a coordinate plane graph looks like. Draw arrows starting at the dashed line to represent each of the integers shown on the number line below. So the arrow that corresponds with 1 and 2 have been modeled for you. So we're going to draw a line from here to here. Shh. Put your arrows in, and then we're going to do the same thing down below. Whoops. Yes. Because I did it wrong the first time. I had to fix it. I missed that first line. All right, let's take a look here. It says, as you approach 0 from the left. So from the left, as I approach 0, as I go that way, the integers get what? Larger or smaller?
Smaller. Larger.
They get larger because -1 is larger than -5, right? Please sit down. So the integers get larger, but the absolute value of those numbers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get smaller. This means the order of negative numbers is opposite to the order of their absolute values. Yes, ma'am. I know. That's how I write. That's my writing. All right, let's take a look at this second part right here. You guys are doing a great job today. Got about 5 more minutes on this. Complete the steps below to put these numbers in order. Separate the sets of numbers into positive rational, negative rational, and 0 on the top. Are you ready? 2.1 is a positive number, so it goes right here. -4.5 is a negative number. -6. Positive 0.25. -1.5. 0, which is right here. Yes, Brody? Yep, it's like 1/4. Yep. Here's positive 3.9. -6.3. -4. 2 3/4. 3.99. -9 1/4. So we broke them up into positives and negatives. Shane, question?
What's the actual
We haven't done that part yet. Brody, question?
Go to the bathroom.
Sure, you don't have to ask, just sign out. Now, are you ready? Write the absolute value of all those numbers in the bottom. So the absolute value of -4.5, what's it going to be, Zoe? Shane, the absolute value of -6. Ada Weinberg, the absolute value of -1.5. How far away from 0 is that number? (1.5), exactly right. The absolute value of -6.3. Annabelle. What about -4, Hayden? What's the absolute value of -4?
4.
And the absolute value of -9 1/4. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side.
Done.
Good job. I'm sorry, they're technically what? They're technically all positive. When you talk about absolute value, they're always positive numbers. Notice that? Positive, absolute value is always going to be a positive value because it's always going to be how far away from 0 is that? Okay, now we're going to, I don't know if you guys can do this at the same time, so watch my paper, Robert. Because yours are on two different pages, you'd have to flip back and forth. So just watch up here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this circle right here, and I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest. So which one of these would be the very, very farthest to the left on a number line? Negative 9 1/4 would be the first one. Mark it off our list. What's going to come after that, Michael? What do you think? After 9. Well, I got 2 6s. Which one is farthest away from 0 out of those two? Yep. Now I've got 2 4s. Cooper, which one comes first? Use 2 4s. Which one's farthest away from 0? Yep. And least to greatest, right?
Hang on.
It's okay. Shh. You guys are fine. If you're ready to move on, take this list and put it in order from least to greatest. We're going to do the same thing with this group now here and this group here. So go ahead and work ahead if you're ready to go on. You're going to go least to greatest out of these numbers first. What do you notice about what happens to that list? Just look at it and tell me, what can you see? Annabelle?
It's gone back.
It just, everything flipped over, right? So negative numbers in order from least to greatest, if you put them as absolute values, the whole thing flips over. So it has to do with that negative again. Now take these numbers and put these in order from least to greatest. Nothing changes, exactly right. We're going to skip down to exercise 2. So I'm going to skip over this. Four integers so that their order and the order of absolute value are the same. What do I know about those 4 numbers? I would have to pick. Look up here and say, which time did it happen that the integers and their absolute values were in the same order? When they were positive numbers. So when was a time when there were 4 integers and their absolute values were in the opposite order. Janaya? Negative numbers. That is all we're going to do on this page. On the problem set, we're going to do number 2. Let me do one of those with you. For each pair of rational numbers below, place each one in the diagram based on how it compares to the other one. -4 and -8. Which one is the greatest number out of those two? -4. Which has the greatest absolute value?
It's 8, -8. And you know we do these things with ELA too. But with
Venn diagrams?
Yeah.
Nice. Which one is the greater number and the greatest absolute value? In this case, neither one. So nothing goes in there. Ready?
Yep.
Number 2, +4 and +8. Which one is greater? Brody. Which one has the greatest absolute value?
8.
Which one is greater and has the greatest absolute value? Please do C, D, E, F, and G by yourself and then turn that in when you're finished. Shh. Go.